A very warm welcome to each one of you to the virtual session of Science Children. So let us continue with the chapter 9 Soil Part 2. As we have begun with the chapter in the previous session, so let us continue with the same. We were looking at the different layers of the soil, that is, we have seen horizon A, B, C, bedrock we have seen. We are going to have a detailed study about the different layers of the soil in this session. I hope you will have done the diagram which I have shown you in the previous session, and below that diagram you are going to write about the different horizons. So let us see horizon A. This layer is also called the topsoil. It is visible to us. It contains large amount of humus and minerals which makes it dark in color. So why it is dark in color? Because the humus is a dead and decay matter of plants and animals and has so much of minerals. That's why it gets dark color. And the soil is rich in nutrients because of the presence of humus. The topsoil has a soft texture and can retain water easily. That is why plants' roots grow in the topsoil region. So it's a topsoil has a soft texture and can retain water easily. That's why the reason why the plants' roots grow in the topsoil. The topsoil is a home to many living organisms like insects, worms, beetles, rodents, moles. So topsoil becomes a living ground for so many organisms you have seen, and it is full of nutrients because of the humus and lots of minerals in it. That is horizon A. I hope you will have written down that. Now we will see horizon B, that is the middle layer. It is the next layer of the soil which does not contain much humus. You have seen in the diagram, the minerals are found in large quantities in this layer. This layer has a hard texture, light color, and is more compact than the topsoil. Horizon C or third layer. The third layer of the soil consists of small rocks with cracks in them. These rocks are partly withered. So you have seen the horizon B and horizon C here, middle layer and the third layer. I hope the chemical composition or the content of the middle layer and the third layer is clear with you. So you should understand what horizon B and horizon C consist of. Please take down this and then you will go for bedrock. That is the first layer of the rock, first layer of the soil which you have seen the different layers. Now the first layer you are going to see, that means from the ground, if you see deep inside. Topmost layer is the first layer, that is contain humus and all. So bedrock is deep inside if you see the soil profile. So it is the last layer actually. So the last layer of the soil is called the bedrock, and it contains large pieces of rocks that are not withered or exposed to any winds or water. So they are large pieces of rocks and they are not exposed to winds or water, otherwise they will break down into smaller pieces, and they are not withered. That's why they are very hard. And bedrock cannot be dug with the help of spade. It is very hard in texture, so it is not easy to dug them because they lie deep down the ground and very hard, since they are not under the pressure of winds or water. That's why not withered at all. So that's why they are called as bedrock. They are forming the bed of the soil on which all the other layer of the soil is being placed. Now, how soil is formed, you should know, because such an important essential part of our life, and we should know the importance of the soil and how it is formed. That also we should know. We know that the soil is formed from the weathering of the parent rock. The parent rock is going to break down withered, and then it's going to break down into small particles of the soil. The texture of the soil depends upon the parent rock only. This process takes time, maybe 100 years, and then the fine soil is formed. Can you imagine 100 years to make 1 centimeter thick soil by natural process? So such an important part of our life, it takes such a long period of time for the making of the soil naturally through the natural process. So how important it is for us to take care of the soil, you should know that, children. In the first stage of soil formation, the soil is generally non-porous in nature. So first stage of the soil, non-porous in nature, it will not take up water easily, it will not sip in water. Taking up water, it will not have pores. Then it is slowly turn into soil having air and water in the pores. So gradually it will have some pores which where air and water can exist, and we can define soil as a mixture of rock particles and humus. So particles, rock breaking down into smaller particles, and humus together will form a soil. And based on the size of the particles and the texture of the soil, it can be divided into various types. So now we have different types of soils because of the it being categorized because of the texture of the soil and size of the particles of the soil. That will decide the different types of the soil. Now let us see. Here you will see how this soil formation takes place. You have a bedrock where it is start disintegrating, breaking down. Weathering begins. So bedrock begins to disintegrate. Then this is how soil is formed naturally, but it's a very slow process, and it takes years together to make a 1 centimeter thick layer of soil. And organic matter facilitates further disintegrations. Then the third step, you can see water percolates, horizon forms. Water percolation happens. A and C horizon you can see in the third step. Then the fourth step, you can see the formation of B horizon. You have deeper profile, more humus, thicker horizons. So here you have a greater plant growth, and this is how the formation of a soil takes place, and it's a gradual, very slow process. It's a natural process of formation of soil. It takes years together. Now let us see about types of soil. What are different types of soils we have? We have clay, loam, sand, silt. Please take down in your notebook, you are going to write different types of soil. Under that you are going to write clay, loam, sand, silt, and you can see the image over here showing the different types. They differ in the color, the texture, the size of the particles of the soil is different. So they differ in various aspects, and the properties will also differ definitely. So now let us see first thing, sandy soil. Sandy soil has a big particles and have large spaces between them. So you can make out the different properties here we are going to discuss. Sandy soil, and the spaces between the particles are filled with air, and sandy soils are called well aerated soil. Because of large spaces, water can easily penetrate through the particles of sand. So there's lots of spaces between the particles. That's why this sand is porous. And sandy soil, however, cannot hold water. Keeping water, holding water, because water can easily penetrate through the particles of the sand. That's why water holding capacity is very less. You all should know that soil has a capacity to hold water. Hence, sandy soils are light, aerated, and dry in nature. They are well aerated because the particles have spaces in between, so air can occupy that space. But because of lots of spaces between the particles, water cannot be holded, and therefore this soil cannot hold water much. And sandy soil lack much nutrients, hence do not support the diverse growth of plants. So this soil is not that suitable for the growth of plants because of lack of nutrients. Clay soil. It consists of fine particles which have less space between them. So fine particles will have less space between them. Since there is not much space between the particles, clay soils are they are not well aerated like sandy soil because the space between the particles very less. So air cannot enter easily. The tiny gaps between the particle although allow absorption of water in the clay soil easily. So the tiny gaps between the particles that allow absorption of water, and they're able to hold water because they're not a very big space between the particles. Therefore, water can seep into, but it can hold water Water just cannot move out, and hence suitable for the growth of different kinds of plants. I hope this is very clear with you, children. And you have to take down all the important points discussed in the session. As you know, what are loamy soil? Loamy soil contains a similar amount of large and small particles in them. They are combination of sandy, clayey and silty soil. They also contain humus. They can hold water in appropriate amounts and therefore support the growth of plants. They are also called agricultural soil. They are so suitable for the agriculture because they are because of their fertility, and they got appropriate texture, and they contain good amounts of calcium and have high pH level. So they are not uh, very acidic, which is harmful for the plants. They have a high pH, means they are not acidic, and they are very suitable for the agriculture. Therefore they are called as agricultural soil, and they can have hold appropriate amount of water. All that property suitable for the agriculture. That is loamy soil. Then silt soil, let us see what is silt soil. The silt soil particles are smaller than that of a sandy soil, but larger than clay soil. So the particles of the silt soils, they are smaller than that of sandy soil, but they are larger than the size lies between the sandy soil and the clay soil. So silt soil can hold water to some extent because of its fine quality, and they are generally found near the water bodies like river banks, lakes, etc. They are rich in nutrients, high fertile. They are highly fertile, means they have good amount of nutrients in them and are suitable for agriculture. They are often mixed with other soils to improve the fertility of the soil. So these are the properties of the silt soil, and you can make out the difference between the different type of soil: sandy soil, clay soil, loamy soil, and silt soil. Please take down all the points in your notebook, children. Thank you, children, and have a wonderful day.